Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Whoever wrote that bio should get a raise. When I grow older, I want to become like that person. I don't know who that was. It's an honor to be with you all, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wal aqibatu lil muttaqeen was salatu was salamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammadin Nabiyil Alameen الذي اسمه مكتوبا في الإنجيل والتوراة أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى في كتابه العزيز بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فبما رحمة من الله لنت لهم ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك فاعف عنهم واستغفر لهم وشاورهم في الأمر وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم المؤمن مألف ولا خير من لا يألف ولا يؤلف أو كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. My dear brothers, sisters, elders, and youngsters, it is commonly perceived and is commonly misunderstood that the impact of an individual, that the impact of a person is based upon the talent that they possess. That the impact of a person is based upon the degree that they hold. That the impact of an individual or a society is based upon the wealth that they possess. We commonly understand that impact is contained and confined based upon what we possess, but the prophetic model was quite the contrary. That impact was not based upon the talent of an individual, but rather impact was based upon how that person's talent was able to uplift others. Impact was based upon how that person's psychological reserve was used to uplift a community. Impact was based upon how that person's wealth was able to enrich others. Impact was not based upon talent alone. Impact was when talent was used for others. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. Imam Suyuti rahimahullah says in this ayah that a talent that is there, that is not used to benefit the ummah, is no talent indeed. Because it is merely used to benefit an individual. We are not a community that focuses on an individual. We are a community of إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. We stand strong because we are together. Impact was not through an individual's strength. Impact was خَيْرُ النَّاسِ أَنْفَعُهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ. That the greatest person is a person who can bring benefit to others. Impact wasn't simply based on talent. It was based on how a person was able to use their talent to make others feel accepted. And the epitome of this was the presence of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That though he had nothing physically, though he possessed nothing monetarily, he was able to convince a nation that the world saw to be worthless, that they were worthy of changing the world. He was able to convince the nation that the Persians and the Romans had written off, that these are people not worth ruling. He was able to convince them to become the rulers of the world. Did he give them something physically? Did he gift them wealth? Did he gift them commodities? Absolutely not. He gifted them the ability of feeling valued, the ability of feeling that they belong. كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فخما مفخما. The Prophet of Allah صلى الله عليه وسلم was a person who was naturally honorable, but he allowed his talent and honor to be used to help those around him. So a group of people who the world saw to have no honor, disgrace, left aside on the side of the road, he allowed them to become the conquerors of the world because of how he made them feel. The prophetic model is an inclusive model. It wasn't inclusive because of pressure. It wasn't inclusive because there was a check mark that we had to mark off. It was inclusive by design, not because of who those people were. It was simply because they were. It was simply because they existed. It was simply because they were a part of that community. The condition and prerequisite of benefiting from the Prophet's presence was not something that you had. It was that you were there. You were present. And this ability of his was not limited to the adults and the elders or the brothers and the sisters. It was inclusive of everyone, and specifically the youngsters. Those young individuals that the world told them that you don't have to worry about life. You don't have to think about it yet. You know, in life, Empowerment is felt most when given from the greatest authority. If I'm working in a desk job and my manager empowers me, that's great. But if I'm working a desk job and the CEO empowers me, that's lovely. My dear youngsters, the empowerment that you are searching for does not need to be given to you by anybody. It was already given to you by the Prophet ﷺ the moment he decided that the first ambassador that will represent this deen will not be Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, will not be the great Umar radiyallahu anhu, but the first ambassador of deen will be an 18-year-old youngster by the name of Mus'ab ibn Umair, who became the bedrock and the foundation of Islam spreading all across the world through Madinatul Munawwara. This youngster was chosen. That is your empowerment. Don't look for empowerment through people who are flawed like us. Don't look for empowerment from the uncle in the masjid or from the khala that is looking down upon you. Look for empowerment from the authority, which is the Prophet. Who is the Prophet? Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He told Mus'ab, you will be the first ambassador. Mus'ab was the one who went to Madinatul Munawwara. We hear about the stories of the Prophet entering into Medina and the youngsters, the brothers, the sisters, the entire community flocking and flourishing and coming towards the Prophet and chanting, "Tala al-Badru alayna," that the white moon has rose above us. We hear the statements of Anas ibn Malik, "Lamma dakhala an-Nabiy sallallahu alayhi wa sallam al-Madinata adaa minha kull shay." When the Prophet of Allah entered Medina, he lit up the entire city. We hear about these narrations, but behind those narrations, there was a youngster who worked hard. There was a youngster that many people didn't notice. There was a youngster that 2 years later, he left the world. We're not looking for recognition in this world. Empowerment is not synonymous to recognition. Empowerment is not synonymous to being known. We feel like we're not empowered because we haven't been given a title. Titles are for those who look for appreciation in this world. We want the title of radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. We want the title of udkhulul jannata bima kuntum ta'malun. We want the title of Allah saying to us that I am pleased with you and I will never be angry with you again. Empowerment is not synonymous to recognition. Mus'ab 2 years ago in the battle of Uhud left this world, and when they covered his head, his feet would be exposed. And when they would cover his feet, his head would be exposed because there was not enough clothing and cloth to cover his body. My dear youngsters, empowerment was already given to us. Where are we looking? Who are we searching? Who are we searching for that they can empower us? Let it not be a cop-out. Let it not be a cop-out that we are just searching for it. It's already been given to us. Empowerment was given through how the Prophet made these people feel. Empowerment was given when Zayd ibn Haritha, a youngster who was gifted to the Prophet by Khadija radiyallahu anha, when his father came to take him back, the Prophet said to the father, "Ud'uhu," call him, فَيَخَيِّرُ, and let him choose who he wants to be with. Empowerment was when Zayd ibn Haritha said to his father, "Inni ra'aytu shay'an min hadha ar-rajul ansani kulla insanin." I've seen something from this person that he has made me forget about everyone else. This was the prophetic model of da'wah. The prophetic model of da'wah of وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي رَبِّي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ. That this was the process, this was a system. If the Prophet's da'wah was empowering and inclusive, our masjids must be the same. Our presence must do the same. No one wants an employee that can only do their work and leave. We want an employee that can do their work and make others become better at their jobs. We don't simply want Muslims that can come clock in and clock out as if they're being paid to do what they're doing. We need Muslims that when they enter the masjid, they become a source of ease and comfort. That the greatest deed and the greatest act of goodness is to bring happiness to your brother or sister, especially a person who is perhaps struggling. And this was the prophetic model. And I'll end by saying this, because oftentimes inclusivity is seen to be something which it isn't. The Prophet's community was the most inclusive community. When it came to how someone looked, when it came to their ethnical backgrounds, when it came to their cultural backgrounds, when it came to their economical backgrounds. But let us not be deceived. Let us not be deluded. It was the most exclusive community when it came to ideals and values. We allow people in, not because of how they look, but because of what they believe in. Our community is not strong because of who we leave out. Our community is strong because everyone is allowed in. May Allah make us amongst those people that can make others feel comfortable, brothers, sisters, youngsters, elders, and allow us to be amongst those that the deen can benefit because of our talent, not just ourselves and our families. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.